Welcome to our introduction to social stories from the CATS team. Delivering the session today is Kate Rideau, Emma Rush and Hema Solanki, and we're all advisory teachers for CATS. What is a social story? A social story is a short description of a situation, event or activity. For example, giving details about how to travel on a bus, telling us the importance of using a tissue to blow my nose, and perhaps to help myself to calm down when I get upset. It includes specific information about what to expect in that situation and the reason why. It's often accompanied by visual information. Pictures and photos help to add clarity and make it easier for the reader to understand. Social stories were developed in 1991 by Carol Gray, and they were initially used to support individuals who are on the autistic spectrum to help them develop a greater social understanding. Who can benefit from social stories? Children, adolescents and adults with autism, children, adolescents and adults with learning difficulties, children, adolescents and adults with poor social skills, children, adolescents and adults with poor self-care or independence skills, children, adolescents and adults with low self-esteem, children, adolescents and adults who find it difficult to cope with change, children, adolescents and adults who display inappropriate behaviours in particular situations, and children, adolescents and adults who may have phobias.
How do social stories help individuals on the autistic spectrum? Social stories present information in a literal, concrete and accurate manner. They provide information about what to expect in a particular situation. Social stories also provide guidelines for the individual's own behaviour in a format that is meaningful and relevant. Pictures support the words and are useful for visual learners. Social stories can increase structure, hence reduce anxiety. Social stories can support sequencing, for example, what comes next. Social stories can also support planning and organisation. For example, areas that are often less developed in children with autism. When can social stories be useful? To develop self-care skills, for example, cleaning teeth, toileting, dressing, washing hands, and feeding yourself. It can also be useful to develop social skills such as sharing, asking for help, saying thank you, and interrupting conversations. Social stories can be useful to look at specific issues. For example, if the child is being bullied, racism, safety, and self-esteem. It can also be useful to help an individual cope with change with routine or distressing events. For example, absence, change of teacher, moving to a new home, or a thunderstorm. It can also be useful as a behavioural strategy. For example, when a child is angry, it can be used to support them with managing their emotions.
Here are some examples of social stories. You'll notice the simple pictures or photos to accompany the writing. Also, the sentences are brief and to the point. They describe a situation and help someone know how to behave in that particular situation or in that event. The first one is about home learning. It sets out how a child should behave and what they might expect when they're learning at home during this lockdown. I usually go to school from Monday to Friday. At the moment, I cannot go to school. I have to stay at home to protect my family and myself from coronavirus. This means I have to do my learning at home. This is very different to being at school, but it's important I continue to learn. All my friends are working at home. Some work might be online and some might be on paper or more active, but it is all important. I might be practicing things I've learnt in school or learning new skills. I can ask for help just like I do at school. When I've completed my work, I'll be able to choose to do something I like to do at home. I might choose to play with my toys or watch TV. Everyone will be happy if I complete my work at home, and it will help me with my learning when I go back to school. The next one is about a more everyday subject, but it also relates to coronavirus as well. And it's how to behave when you feel like sneezing or coughing. Again, there are photos to help add the understanding to the child or young person. So I can usually tell when I need to sneeze or cough. I feel a tickle in my nose or throat. So this is describing the situation. It is important that when I sneeze, I put a tissue over my nose or mouth. I then put the tissue in my pocket or the bin. If I am coughing, I can cough into my elbow. This will stop others from catching my germs. So the reason is supported as well, so a child understands why they have to do something. The next one is about lining up, something that lots of children with autism in particular find difficult to understand about why it is necessary. So at school, we sometimes line up. We line up to go to the gym, to go to the library, and to go out to play. Sometimes my friends and I get excited when we line up because we're going somewhere fun, like out into the playground. It's okay to get excited, but it's important to try to walk in the line. Running can cause accidents, and my friends or I could get hurt. I will try to keep in the line and walk safely. My teacher and friends will be happy. Here are some useful websites where you can find out about social stories. The first one is Carol Gray's own website, which explains how you make a social story and how you use them. She also has a book, My Social Stories book, with many examples of social stories about different situations and events. You can find more social stories on this polixo.com social stories website. And they're also on this website called Do to Learn, which has pictures or symbols for you making your own website and making your own social story. Lastly, Twinkle has a really good range of social stories already made, which you can use. Thank you for joining our session. You'll be sent a quick online evaluation, which only takes you 2 to 3 minutes to complete. We would really appreciate your feedback and any further comments. Thank you for listening.